The topic for 170 is solving equations using the distributive property. When we use the distributive property, we're going to multiply the 3 times both the numbers inside the parentheses. We don't have to take it times the 2, it's not in the parentheses. So 3 times 4a is 12a, 3 times 6 is 18, plus 2 equals negative 28. Then I can add my like terms, so I'd have 12a plus 20 equals negative 28. I'm going to subtract 20 from both sides of the equation. So 12a equals negative 48. And if you're not sure, you can use a calculator there. Divide both sides by 12 to undo times 12. So a equals negative 4. And as always, it's always a good idea to check. When I check, I start off with my original equation, and where there was an a, I'm going to replace it with the negative 4 that we found. So we have 3 times negative 16 plus 6 plus 2. So 3 times negative 10 plus 2. So negative 30 plus 2 is the negative 28 that I wanted to get. So I know my answer is correct. This time I'm going to have to distribute the 5. So 5 times 3c is 15c. 5 times negative 5 is negative 25. I'm not distributing it to the negative 7 because it's not in the parentheses. Then my next step is to combine like terms. 15c minus 7c gives me 8c. And I'm just copying down the rest of the equation. Then undo minus 25. I'm going to add 25 to both sides of the equation. And I get 8c is negative 16. Divide by 8. And c is negative 2. Once again, when we check, we want to replace c in my original equation with what I found it to be, negative 2. And then we're just going to do our order of operations and make sure we get negative 41. Negative 3 times negative 2 is negative 6 minus 5. Negative 7 times negative 2 is plus 14. So we have 5 times negative 11 plus 14, negative 55 plus 14. And thankfully, negative 55 plus 14 is in fact negative 41. So I know my check step worked, and my answer is correct. This time they want us to describe the error made in the following steps. So we're looking at somebody else's work to find what they did wrong. Okay, the first step is good. 5 times 2c is 10c. 5 times 3 is 15. But then if I want to get rid of plus 15, they should be subtracting 15 from both sides instead of adding. So subtract, not add. Okay, we're solving, and yes, of course, we've always been checking our solution. Thanks for asking. So the first thing we need to do is distribute the negative 9. So I'm going to copy down my negative 5 equals 2c. Negative 9 times positive 3 is negative 27c. Negative times negative is positive 45. Then we can combine our like terms. 2 minus 27 is negative 25. And then to undo plus 45, I'm going to subtract 45 from both sides of the equation. So negative 5 minus 45 is negative 50. All that's left is negative 25 times c. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 25. And I get c equals 2. And as always, we're substituting 2 back in for c to make sure we get negative 5 that we want. I hope. 2 times 2 is 4. Minus 9 times 3 times 2 is 6. Copying the rest down patiently. 6 minus 5 is 1. And sure enough, negative 5 is the same as 4 minus 9. So I'm confident that my answer of 2 was correct. A rectangular plot of land has a length that is 10 feet longer than 3 times the width. Find the length and width of the rectangle. If the perimeter is 420 feet, use the formula P equals 2L plus 2W. Okay, so if I let my width be x, The length, they said, is 10 feet longer than 3 times the width. So 3 times the width would be 3x, and 10 feet longer than that is plus 10. And they told us the perimeter is 420, so we're going to substitute into the formula they gave us. So 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. So the first thing we're going to do is distribute. So I have 420 equals 6x plus 20 plus 2 more x. So 420 equals 6x plus 2x is 8x. Subtract 20 from both sides of the equation. So I have 8x equals 400. So that gives us x at 50, and x was our width. And so that means our length would be 3 times 50 plus 10. So 150 plus 10 is 160. And we should probably label, those are both in feet.